Have you ever learned something without even realizing it? Imagine that, learning an English by going in your daily life. No grammar book, no text, no long study hours. Sounds good to be true, right? Stick around, because in this video I'm gonna show you how incidental learning improve my English. You can use that too. Let's dive in. So, what is incidental learning? It's learning that happens without even trying. You are not sitting down with a book to study, but instead, you pick up new words and phrases as you go through your day. Think about how babies learn their first language. They don't take classes, they just listen to people around them, and they are showing the babies these items or that things, or they're repeating the baby to learn the new vocabulary. As adults, we can learn in the same way. We absorb the language by doing things we enjoy, like reading the book, watching the movies, and listening to music. These are some common ways I already talked on the channel. I'm not gonna talk about that again. This time, I want to give you something different tips. Put in your daily life and use it straight away. But let me talk about how does it work incidental learning. When you hear or read a new word or the phrases, your brain even doesn't understand that is keeping your memory. So this process helps you understand and remember new vocabulary without even trying. The more you see or hear the words in a different situation, the more likely that you will remember it in the long term. Because if you already watch my other videos on my channel, I talk about the long-term memory and the short-term memory there. So if you see in a different situation the vocabulary or the phrases, that your brain will keep it in the long-term memory, that will help you to remember in the long-term process. But we are focusing at the moment in a different situation, and we don't want to study in many hours because we don't have a time, we don't have enthusiasm, we don't have energy for that. So how was my incidental learning story? When I started to learn English, I accept that I did study grammar, I did sit down in the books and study hours and hours. But not just only think, the other part of the things that helped me a lot without even trying that, because I didn't understand in that particular time that I was learning, watching the TV shows with the subtitle, listening to music, reading books, but some other things that helped me a lot. I only noticed over the years, not in that time, because the more I produced the language throughout the different activities, the more helped me that. So, what was that? I used to like to play the video games. I still like it. But back in the times, the video games, most of the times in the English language. To understand what was happening in the game or figure out what a special moment is it, I had to push myself to understand English because I wanted to play more, I wanted to enjoy that. So for me, that time, there wasn't enough Turkish resources that I can check it. Sometimes I watch YouTube videos, the people explaining things in English, or I search the answer online. But that time, I didn't understand that I was learning English because I learned lots of vocabulary like up, down, special movements, and many things in the game that I have to learn. I have to understand that in order to pass the chapter or in order to carry on to playing more. So after many times later that, I didn't have to learn that again because I already know that. And if you like playing video games, that will be one of the best way to improve your English. Especially if you like to play the online games, that's the only things maybe you can do to improve your English. Because if you play with the people in a different country, you have to speak English while you're playing the game. So I believe that can definitely help you improve your English without even trying, without even studying that. Because your brain focusing on the game and you are speaking English. It's gonna be your natural activity. Why don't you try it and let me know in the comment below. How does it work for you? Second tips, join in the speaking club. When I was in Turkey, me and my friends, we created a speaking club. So when we meet up, we had just one rule. We only speak English. Whatever happens, we try to explain ourselves in English and we try to understand each other. We will ask you questions and we will get back the answer, and it's gonna be follow up another question in that. We learn many things without even trying that. From our friends, from ourselves. We didn't have to study, we didn't have to focus on the grammar points. We just only focus on how we can express our feeling or our opinion. That one of the major drawbacks is that we couldn't commit for a long time. So the lack of commitment, that was the major drawback. But there was many benefits of it, having a speaking club, because if you know you have to speak English, you are pushing your brain to challenging yourself to speak English. I do remember that in the beginning, even me, I was struggling that, and so hard to bring all the vocabulary to make a whole sentence. But time to time, I felt like I was improving. But only problem is that, without consistency, you're not gonna be successful. So we couldn't commit for a long time, but it helped me a lot. If you're not living in the English speaking country, it's so hard to find the speaking partner consistently. Because one of the big things to improve your speaking skills, you have to find a way to speak with other people. And whatever technique you do in that, the human interaction is totally different. For that reason, I'm taking the start online speaking club. What do you think, guys? Would you like to join? Please let me know, comment in the below. Maybe I can start earlier than I think. Tip number 3, social media. You might think about that, the social media, how can help me to improve my English without even studying that. A friend of mine recently called me that, and he told me he had an English exam recently. And when he was doing the speaking test, he said that instead of very tired, I used the word exhausted. He told me it was the right thing to say that in that situation. And I asked him, how did he learn that? Because I knew his English is not that advanced level. He speaks very well, he speaks fluently, he has the confidence, but we had the chat many times. That's advanced level, he didn't have it that. He didn't that vocabulary. And he told me one thing. I learned it from your stories that, and instead of very tired, I used to exhaust it. This is what I try to achieve my online social media. I'm trying to give you the word is, first of all, I want you to see that, because when you see in the first time, it's not possible to learn. I totally agree with that. But your brain just, absorb it. But you will recognize it when you see in the next time, and the third time, and the fourth time, definitely you will remember it. Has to be in the beginning. So that's what I was trying to do. But not just me. In other social media accounts as well, many English channel or many other influencers, just having the following them on the social media definitely can improve your vocabulary, improve your pronunciation, improve your speaking and the listening. So just why don't you follow them? Because you will see in the first time and the second time you will recognize it, definitely. And maybe third or fourth time you might start to learn that. This is power of the incidental learning. And the bonus tips about that. If you interact with the people in the comments or reply in their comments, that will definitely help you that doing the writing practice with the different people. So here's my challenge for you. Why don't you leave a comment below and I will reply. And also you can reply the other people comment as well to see how much English you can learn it, how much things you can learn it with just interacting with other people. Thank you so much for watching that. See you in the next video.